Welcome everyone to What the Force. I'm Marie-Claire Gould, your host, and this is the Bad Batch Report. And with me for all of these episodes is...
Kyle Gould.
That is a very dramatic intro. This episode was called Devil's Deal, and it was episode 11 of the first season of the Bad Batch.
Ooh, alliteration.
Yeah. Also, was there a deal?
Was there a devil?
I feel like maybe the deal happened before the episode ever started on Ryloth, like i.e. having the Empire be their protection force, etc.
Yeah, I mean, there are a couple of deals that are transacted over the course of this episode.
Is any one of them
Which one of them is the devil's deal?
Which one of them is the devil? Yeah.
Clearly, it's Rampart.
I mean, yeah, clearly, like, he's... All right, well, okay, let's... No. All right, so, this episode, you've been asking for a Crosshair Rampart episode for a while.
Uh-huh.
Did this meet
No.
Okay.
This is not a Crosshair Rampart episode. This is a Crosshair from Bad Batch season whatever of Clone Wars.
Yeah.
Where he's hiding in the background with his gun and his scope.
Have you ever played like a fantasy role-playing game, like D&D as an example, and played with a ranger that refuses to come out of trees?
No, that sounds like fun though.
I have played a game with somebody who was like playing a ranger, and they refused to get out of trees. They were like always like up high, like basically they were Hawkeye from the Marvel universe.
Yeah,
and like they never would interact with any of the NPCs or any of, like, they would never talk with the other characters. They were just always like, I shoot things from far away.
Hey, if you're having fun, I'm not gonna muck your.
No,
you're young.
I know. It just, this episode reminded me of that this is technically a main character, but we got to see like 3 seconds of him.
Right. He was integral.
Oh,
he made decisions.
Absolutely.
They were just all alone from far away.
All alone from far away. In general, this episode felt like another Rebels episode that we had just never seen.
Well,
right?
You're going to get that.
Yeah.
Because the principal character in this episode is a Rebels character.
Yes. It was definitely with that intention, I think, even though the main plot was driven by Rampart and Crosshair from what they were doing, and we got very little Bad Batch interaction.
That's true. Bad Batch was our snippet of this episode.
Yeah, not the focus.
That's fine. It shouldn't have happened. I don't think this episode was necessary. Also, the stakes of this episode are kind of moot because we know everything that happens to all of these secondary characters.
It's going to happen with any of the time that we have secondary characters being the focal point, right? The stakes are going to be low.
But you introduce new characters.
Yes.
That's why you do new characters whose story we do not know the conclusion of.
Absolutely. But Star Wars seems to be having a problem with that recently.
It's all connected. Look at all of us tie these interwoven tales together into this tapestry. No, the tapestry's already been made. You did not need to further confuse and combine these things, because if you do that, you're just going to end up knotting the whole mess up.
Yeah, I mean, we knew all of this about Hera.
Yeah, flying is a feeling.
Yeah,
they talked about that.
They used the same leitmotif that we got from that one episode in Rebels where she gets the B-Wing.
Yep. Speaking of music, the end of music is like straight out of The Mandalorian.
Oh, interesting. I didn't notice that.
It's so weird.
Interesting. Maybe Kainai's playing a little bit more with the Goranson musical palette. Maybe that's a hint that they'll be going to Mandalore at some point.
Maybe
that would be cool. Okay, so let's reset everything. So it actually starts very similar to the previous episode.
Yeah, I was impressed and excited about that too, because I'm like, okay, they're gonna hit it over the head with this. The Empire is touching the common lives of the people of the Galactic Empire.
Yeah, and they're heavily involved in all of the star systems that they control, and they kind of like went out and like that's what they're telling us is that they're they're heavily involved in their getting to all of the different star systems and making sure that everybody is kind of under the thumb of the Empire.
Yes. Ha ha. Watch as we take out yet another galactic senator in a different way. Hee 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 hee.
And, obviously install somebody of their choosing into the Galactic Senate or something.
Yes.
Yes.
The Galactic Empire has no need of your senators. All must go. Watch as we fire sell them all off to the whichever way we possibly can.
So, of course, it starts out with a Cham, and I'm trying to figure out if we knew Hera's mom's name, if she's ever called by a name during the episode.
I think she's just called Syndulla.
Yeah,
and
no.
Mom.
They were referring to Cham when they were talking about her. So, or about Syndulla. But we get Senator Omfrey Ta, who is the worst.
Why does Star Wars continue to put overweight characters in this sort of greedy, self-serving capacity? We don't really get a lot of heavy-set guys that are out there to help people.
That's a good point. Oh, her name is Eleni Syndulla, and she was played by Farrelith Young.
Awesome. Did Vanessa Marshall voice young Hera or no?
She did.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she did a really good job. I actually could recognize her.
I couldn't even tell.
I could recognize her, but she
did
you
have a superpower.
But she did a really good job. Like, people complained about Freddie Prinze Jr.'s voice, but you couldn't tell. You could tell it was a similar voice, but you couldn't tell it was her.
Yeah, I had no idea.
This. Yeah, and she's quite experienced with doing like younger kid characters. So, shout out to Vanessa Marshall for.
Oh, it was great.
Just being amazing.
And now that we've got Syndulla and Hera, we're talking about that. I squeed. I didn't know this was coming. I hadn't been spoiled by StarWars.com's Twitter spoilerage from today.
Yeah.
Which, like your episode's just launched and you've already ruined it for people because that was a delight. I was so excited and impressed. Like Chopper, his little head pops up. Hera's little head pops up and I was like, oh. It was
a good reveal.
Adorable.
Yeah, no, I had seen it on the Twitter.com Twitter Star Wars Twitter line. Yeah.
And here's my problem with the episode, because I've just come away with that. It's like overall expectations.
Yeah.
It's like, ooh, geogalactic political machinations unfold. Perspective of small child.
Yeah.
Those two things don't go well together. It doesn't matter that this perspective of this small child is the the daughter of a principal general who has the support of the people of Ryloth.
And he's also a political leader in some ways.
In some ways, yeah. And then when he stands up to say we need to disarm.
Yeah.
We need to trust the Empire. Her perspective on that's kind of skewed because we're like, okay, why does this matter? Because all we want to do is fly.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
And so then we get the rest of this entire episode, which, 22 minutes for the disarmament and resubjugation essentially of Ryloth, plus Rampart and Crosshair's double-cross devil's deal in the background while we get a little adventure for Hera Syndulla, whom we already know and whom we know has been on massive adventures since she was little. That's a lot to try to pack into a 22-minute episode.
Yeah, and they did a really good job of making it like why is this all happening?
Yeah, I just think that they could have done one or the other.
Yeah.
I think you should have done a little Hera adventure, or you do the galactic political Machiavellian, piece. Doing both felt in many ways to me to be a disservice to
one or the other,
everything that's going on.
I think that the only reason that it ends up being a Bad Batch episode is if it's got the tie to Rampart and Crosshair and then the little cameo by the Bad Batch themselves.
Yeah, I was okay
right?
with that. Yeah, maybe more from Crosshair.
If it had been like a Crosshair chasing Hera or something like that, or a little bit more involved, I agree. It could have been. But overall, it has all the right beats and all the right, it pulls on the right like nostalgia of Rebels to make everything. And I love Chopper, who is of course played by Dave Filoni. So another Dave Filoni character back in, although IMDb says that Chopper is himself.
Chopper is played by Chopper?
Chopper is played by Chopper.
That's funny.
Yeah. But it was revealed at the end of Rebels that Chopper was played by Dave Filoni. So that's what's important. Is that better?
Oh, of course.
We also got some more classic callbacks to other characters like Gobi, who is Uncle Gobi.
Right.
Of Hera.
Oh my God. This guy. Like,
yeah.
That decision, the decision to bring Hera along on an illegal arms deal makes zero sense. Why didn't you spend 30 seconds and just have him use Hera as his excuse for going on an excursion? Hey, Cham, your daughter's really interested in flying. I'd like to take her on a little trip and a picnic, and she can do much of the flying. Wow, suddenly now there's a reason for the ship to go off. There's a reason for it all to happen. And then the picnic, oh, hey, who are these friends?
Yeah, like he told her straight up.
Like, I get that she has been operating for him for a while now, and so he doesn't really think anything of it. But, like, she says she needs to stay behind, and then he convinces her to come?
Yeah.
For no reason. There was no purpose for her to be on that ship and that time in that place.
I don't know, like, other than he's trying to, like, make her into a child soldier, which is a little dark.
Well, not clear, right?
Oh, yeah, fair. Yeah.
Would have preferred some clarity to that.
Yeah. I mean, was she brought along because she's a protagonist of another series?
Absolutely, that's the case.
The struggle.
But spend some time to give the characters that are doing the actions reasons for doing those actions. She goes along just so that they can have a moment where Hera and Omega get to chat. And I thought that was lovely.
Yeah.
And yet again, it's two women in Star Wars having a conversation not about a boy, and that's a delightful thing to see happen.
Absolutely. And could lean into Hera knowing Omega later if Omega survives, but we have no idea. So that's the excitement, right? It's not about necessarily like, how did she get there? It doesn't matter. Deus Ex Machina, a shrug.
Yeah, but
right?
It does matter that she's there because now, your parents are caught for treason. Oh, hey.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
We can arrest her and sentence her, and there's not even a trial. And it's like, what? This guy's just gone off the rocker here. And
he
the
seems
Empire
smarter than that.
The Empire doesn't even want him.
Who, Cham?
No, Ta.
Oh, yeah.
The Empire doesn't even want Ta, so they're just looking for a way to get rid of him anyway.
And using it as a political excuse, yeah.
Because all senators must go.
It's a fire sale.
Yeah.
All senators must go. No, since it's July, it's Christmas in July.
Right. It's
for senators.
It's Boxing Day in July sales event. All senators must go. By the end of the summer, we're having a huge clearance sale on all former Galactic and Separatist senators who are part of that republic.
No. All the senators are still senators up until A New Hope because the Emperor dissolves the Senate at the start of A New Hope.
Well, guess what? He has started to dissolve the Senate.
He is using acid on the Senate.
Exactly.
And slowly starting to dissolve it.
Well, I think that if you don't have, probably the case, and they're not suggesting this directly, is that if they don't have a senator, if a certain amount of the Senate no longer has representation in the Senate, then is there even a Senate anymore? And
and that's where he uses the galactic, the regional governors to, he uses the regional governors to maintain control of the galaxy. Yeah.
Which report through military command to him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Without being a military leader, the guy has essentially done a military coup.
He did. Yes. But that's what he was doing before.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. So what did you think of little Hera Syndulla?
Well, I thought she was adorable. I would love a show just dedicated to her.
Yeah.
She was great. Her and Chopper running around together, little adventures. I could totally see a comic book dedicated to this. And where does she go from here? Her parents are now in jail by the Republic,
Yeah.
And they're now essentially political hostages.
Yeah.
Because they know that they can't kill them. They can't kill these people. They have the support of the citizens.
Mom dies at some point.
We know she's gone.
Yeah, so like
I honestly thought that's what we were going to get.
I thought that was what I was scared when I was like, this is the episode that we meet Hera's mom. Oh my god.
Her mom was so lovely.
She was so lovely. I loved her earrings.
I did not notice her earrings. I just noticed how much she looked like Hera.
Yeah. Yeah. And like it was really interesting from a change of character because we've seen Cham Syndulla like multiple times,
right,
in the Clone Wars,
stern, gruff,
in Rebels,
yep,
like, which is kind of the live action version that we've seen the most. But we got to know him really well in a book called Lords of the Sith, where the Emperor and Darth Vader go to Ryloth and get kind of stuck there, and then Cham's rebellion is a huge part of that, and so I think that happens like 4 or 5 years after Order 66, so kind of between now and then a lot of stuff happens on Ryloth, and Cham is able to set up this whole rebellion on Ryloth, and I don't believe that Hera's mom is around by then. And Hera ends up leaving and getting kind of hooked up with Kanan, and that's the plot of A New Dawn, which is another book that kind of leads into Rebels. So like we know kind of what happens in very broad strokes after this fact. So cute, but also low stakes, as you said. We know everything that kind of happened here. What was the point of this particular episode?
Yeah, our Bad Batch got to deliver 15 blasters and a bunch of thermal detonators, which is what they took off of Braca.
Yeah.
On their way. Is Braca right? I think it's Braca. Bracca. The planet they went to.
Yes.
Start of Jedi Fallen Order.
Yes, Braca.
So that's exciting. And it was neat to see this relationship betwixt Omega and Hera.
Yes.
And I'm hoping that that's a harbinger of something to come, as opposed to just a one-off to get these two integral lady-led characters to interact.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it was a way to show some of the events from a more kid perspective, like more close to the, like people would recognize young Hera,
Yeah. Or is that just fan service? Like, what is somebody like Will, who does not remember Rebels at all? How is he going to take little kid Hera? Is he going to have the same sort of... He won't have any nostalgia because he doesn't know who that is in any real semblance of the word.
I'm still like thinking about the structure of it and whether it was like exciting and you would identify with that character right away because you don't know that character. Like if this was the first episode that you had seen of, Hera, like we just said, would this be interesting, or would you have been like our comments on previous episodes where they kind of take the focal point away from the Bad Batch, which I mean, I fell for it this episode because I love Hera, right? Obviously. Yeah. But if your first Star Wars was the Bad Batch, like would this episode confuse you?
There are people out there whose Star Wars is their first Star Wars is the Bad Batch.
Same with Clone Wars, same with Rebels, same with Resistance. Yeah, exactly. Or same with Mandalorian. So if you were to watch this show from scratch and see Hera, would you identify with her right away? Would this be interesting? Would this open you up? Because my argument is always it's only good if it successfully says, hey, I want to explore more of this character. Which, as much as I struggled with the Ahsoka episode of The Mandalorian, it ended up increasing watches of Clone Wars and Rebels.
Absolutely.
By a ton. So I struggled with the episode, but it was a good introduction to the character who people didn't know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? So would this open this up and say like, oh, I want to find out what happens to Hera?
Yeah.
I mean, I struggle with that sort of storytelling too, like as a launching point.
Well, here's my frustration. As I said, they picked Hera to be our central viewpoint for this episode.
Yeah.
And maybe a little bit the mom, but no, nonetheless, it's still really Hera-centric. The entire time is principally from Hera's perspective.
Maybe it would be too dark if it was from Crosshair's perspective, to your point.
We can't go to Crosshair.
Yeah.
He's a bad guy right now.
Yeah.
If you have it shown from
Straight
his
up
perspective.
killed that guy.
Which guy?
The senator.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, so are we doing death count then? Because you've just revealed it.
I mean, people have watched the episode, haven't they? Okay.
I would hope.
Okay, death count.
But they might not have been paying attention as we now come into death count.
Death count.
And I regret to inform you that Senator Fat Guy from Ryloth,
Frita,
Ta, is dead. And that's it.
Yeah.
Everyone else is stunned. One person gets shot in the shoulder, but they go, and then they fall backwards. I don't think that was a death cry. It was more like a pained, ow, I got shot in the shoulder cry.
Yeah, you can survive.
That's it.
You can survive.
No one else dies. People get knocked off of speeder bikes. I would think that hurling a javelin, like a jousting spear at someone at high speeds would kill them.
But he stood up.
Star Wars has shown us over and over and again that doesn't happen when they get hit at high speeds or they fall or whatnot, unless they're shown to be deceased. They're not.
It's such a cool concept. There was some art in the Force Awakens art of book where it had the Knights of Ren and Kylo, the character, the Jedi killer that eventually became Kylo, kind of all dressed like jousting knights on speeders with like kind of like jousting like lances. And
that is the coolest thing ever.
I know. And I'm like, maybe they took that concept and put it in here.
Cham Syndulla is probably his high school champion, the high school record holder for speeder bike jousting.
Yeah, and now this is a whole thing on Ryloth. They have speeder bike jousting, and he's has a Letterman jacket.
Absolutely.
From
team captain.
He's the team captain of the jousting club or team.
Yeah, he lettered in SBJ, speeder bike jousting.
Yeah, exactly. And this is where they're at right now.
So to my point, now that we know that Ta is dead, this episode would have been so much better if instead of Hera's perspective, we'd gotten Hauser's perspective.
Yes.
Hauser's the one who asks the questions. Hauser's the one who doubts people's motivations.
Yeah.
Who actually says, I'm breaking regs and bringing her into you. I should have done this other thing instead.
Yeah, and he was kind of resisting like the call of the chip, the siren's call of the chip. Yeah, I thought that was super interesting, and also is kind of leading into this concept of the clone trooper rebellion that we keep on talking about.
Also, he's just really cool.
Oh,
he has a cool face scar.
He's got a cool haircut. Yeah.
He has a cool name. He's Hauser.
Yeah. Yeah. He does seem like a standard and he was wearing blue.
Yeah.
Right? So that
like a teal blue?
Was it a blue or was it a teal blue? Was it the blue of Anakin's?
No, it definitely wasn't.
So he wasn't
same.
Part of the 501st.
Yeah.
Okay. More of the regs too seem to be wearing just white outfits too, so they're wearing less of that identifiable color. This scheme, they're also they don't take off their helmets except for these kind of special old school clones,
first gen clones.
Hauser would have been, a really perfect POV.
Yep,
and it would have also leaned into this concept that like all clones are actually part of the Bad Batch, which I would like to see them kind of say, like, we're all Bad Batchers.
Yeah.
Like kind of that call to arms and seeing that clone trooper rebellion.
It would have done more. Maybe we're going to get another Hera episode is what it's going to be. Maybe we're going to get another Hera episode. Maybe there's going to be more to do with Hauser in that and things will come about. Because one thing that this episode did, especially if you're new to Star Wars, is it left a whole ton of unanswered questions that you want to know the answer to. Where does Hera go next? How does she save her mom and dad? Right? What does the Empire do on Ryloth now that they don't have a senator and they don't have a voice and they've turned over all of their weapons?
Yeah. I mean, I think obviously the inevitable is that Cham Syndulla is going to start his rebellion again with Gobi, who is untrustworthy with younger children.
No, yeah, definitely not a role model. Not the uncle you bring over to your house to watch your kids while you scoot away for a weekend softball tournament in BC. And then that uncle's like, hey, why don't you come along with me and we'll pick up some illegal munitions. And by the way, if you eat this entire cooking yellow onion, I'll give you $5.
This feels like it's coming from a place of pain. Did this actually happen to you, Kyle?
That uncle is not a trustworthy uncle.
Did he?
Nor does he pay $5 to a child who tried really hard to eat an uncooked yellow cooking onion.
I do not recommend doing that, by the way.
You should never do that. It was the worst thing to ever put in one's mouth, especially that much of it, because it was like a softball sized. And he just kind of giggled the whole time and never paid up. He's like, well, you didn't eat all of it. Anyway.
I feel like Gobi's a little bit better than that.
I feel like Gobi's, that if we're holding up like eat a yellow cooking onion for $5 you don't get paid versus, hey, come help me buy some illegal munitions and then bring them back and I'll let you drive halfway there.
Yeah.
Ugh.
You haven't told me which one is better.
I've only had one of those two things happen to me, so I couldn't tell you the other. But I will say this, that this episode was really good. Because it flowed from one moment to the next. There's only 17 scenes.
Okay.
It flows from one moment to the next. Not a ton less, but they spend more time in those moments. The interchange between the people outside and the people inside at the very beginning is really well done, with more than enough time spent getting a feel for, hey, this is Ryloth. Hey, the people are a bit disquieted.
Tons of establishment from a visual perspective as well. Kind of seeing the scene with the angry crowds, and then, yes, this is Cham. This is what he does, and he is a natural leader. Absolutely. And people naturally follow him.
And a great tactician. Like the way they take out that transport is brilliant, but it shows Rampart's hand that he saw it coming.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
And man, does Rampart talk so much like Thrawn.
He does. Yeah. But he also had he had the plan set up, but it would have been cool if Crosshair had been part of that strategy.
It seems like he was. The Crosshair knew all along what was going on.
No, he knew what. But we didn't get to see
people.
Him go like, "This is what Cham will end up doing." Whereas Rampart's just like a kind of a politician, and is he good at everything?
Rampart's good at everything.
It seems like it. It seems like he's good at everything because like he set up like the New Republic credit or the New Empire credits, Imperial credits. He is managing the clone program. He's managing
the Stormtrooper program.
The Stormtrooper program. He's managing this takeover of a system. That those would be
completely different divisions.
Yeah, it definitely feels like he's wearing a lot of hats and probably deserves to get more pay or some sort of bonus for all of the things that he's doing. What happens if he wants to take a vacation? He cannot take a vacation. He has literally nobody that he is like running around and like he can delegate stuff to. I'm worried about him. He really seems like he's stressed out.
He doesn't seem stressed. Maybe
he's not doing a really good job with any of the one things that he's doing.
The one multiple bajillion things.
Yes.
Like I don't see how hierarchically we would put Imperial credits and Stormtrooper initiation in the same division.
Yeah, usually human resources and finance are not under the same division.
No, I mean recruitment.
Yeah,
and that now he's enacting global policy with regards to dealing with not global, but like galactic policy with regards to how they're dealing with these senators.
Yeah.
So like, what are you like? I would have thought, okay, we're opening up a recruitment office here on Ryloth.
That would have fit. Yeah.
Or we're opening up our IGBC banking office
Yeah,
here
one
on
of
Ryloth.
those, one of those 2 lanes. Now we have another swim lane that he is responsible for.
Right,
That's what
which
we're
is
saying.
Take out the senators.
Take out the senators, or maybe it had to do with the duranium. The basically it's the metal that makes the ship strong. That they're mining on Ryloth. Like maybe that was part of the problem. That's the 4th swim lane. What?
Yeah. Hey, welcome to where we're discussing a kids TV show that's only 22 minutes in length that has these huge concepts and theories in it, which, I mean, most kids are going to be like, okay, money. Oh, yeah, stormtroopers. I know that word. Oh, the senators are losing their roles. They're not going to be over.
I don't think they'll even care about that because Amrita is terrible.
But they keep bringing these things up, these larger concepts
Yes.
of how the galaxy is going to be run under the Empire, and it's crushing my spirit to know that Rampart is like the only guy. So we may sound a bit different today. Did we want to tell the listeners where we are?
Oh, we're on Vancouver Island.
Yes, we've reached our final destination.
Yeah.
Staying in a 100-year-old renovated farmhouse that has the beautiful kitchen, gorgeous bathrooms, and the rest of the house is kind of just falling apart.
No, it's fine. It's just old.
It's very old. There are no couches and no cushioned seats. There are some hard wooden,
so it might be more echoey.
Farmhouse tables and chairs.
Yeah.
And a bunch of beds. And that's it.
Yeah.
There's no television.
No.
There's no radio.
No.
We had to bring in our own computers, of which we brought many.
The Wi-Fi's here. There is Wi-Fi.
There is Wi-Fi. We cannot speak to the quality of the Wi-Fi.
Hey, I was able to stream last night.
That's true.
So.
And if you are listening to this Bad Batch report and have not had a chance to catch the latest stream of Loki on What the Fiction, you should pop over there when you're done, because Marie Claire and Robin are just killing it with their theory crafting, with their discussion of the meta-analysis, and Robin is adding more to that conversation and more thoughtful intellectual discourse than I had actually initially anticipated she would be.
She's doing great and she's really enjoying it.
And that's really what matters. So go check that out.
They are doing great, and
so are we.
That's all that matters.
And this Bad Batch episode does not rank super high on my list of favorite Bad Batch episodes, which is weird because I loved it. And as soon as Hera showed up, I squeed and I was excited and enthused. Where does it rank for you?
I'm trying to think. It's certainly not my favorite Bad Batch episode thus far. I am of 2 minds because I'm like, new characters, please. Like we've talked about, right? Like give us new characters. Make the universe bigger, not smaller. And certainly, like, is there value in repeating things that many people who are watching this show already know? Right? Like we already knew this, but they did it with Kanan in the first episode.
Yeah.
Caleb's backstory, and they're telling us they're telling us Hera's backstory. So are we kind of gonna get, like, are they gonna go to Mandalore and we'll see baby Sabine? Like, which could happen in a couple of years, like baby Sabine being born or Sabine's mother being there.
Seems unnecessary.
I mean, it could happen.
Unless Omega is the reason why Hera and Kanan get together.
That would be amazing. Be like, she like hand fasts them or something. Sorry. No, okay. So I don't need character introduction like this. Me personally, I don't need it.
Nope.
I don't need baby Hera showing up in the world. I don't need baby Luke showing up in the world, but we're going to get it in the Kenobi show, right? Yeah. It seems like something that they are doing, so I'm just going to like learn to accept it because it seems like that's their... We already know this all leads to Luke in the New Hope. We know all of this. We know this is where it leads, or this leads to Rebels. So I'll just like, oh, that's nice to see baby Hera, and she was cute, and her relationship with Chopper was exactly how she described it in Rebels.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, you gave us nothing new. You showed us something that we've already seen and already conjectured about in the past. And also you didn't increase, I talk about the building of that foundation, right?
Yep.
You've laid no new foundational groundwork with this episode. All you've done is interconnected pieces that we didn't necessarily need to see interconnected. And is it really not just a loose connection? I mean, if you're going to tie the Bad Batch as that group of 5 characters to Hera,
yeah, you would make it a stronger thing, like they save her or something, but that's not what happened.
No.
The connection is more just, Crosshair is the reason that Hera's parents were arrested, which is a lot harder of a thing to, go with.
Yeah.
However, that all being said, I love Hera, and this episode does stuff to me because
right,
it was like a mini Rebels episode, like I said at the top of the thing, right? So if that's what they're going for, success. If they're telling a Bad Batch story, less successful.
Right. And if they're adding something to the oeuvre of Star Wars, they haven't, because they've given us nothing new.
Exactly.
And that's what we were hoping for, and what we wanted is development of the world at large and present us with new positions and new things to think about and new stories. Like they haven't given us that.
Even the episode Rampage, which was also written by the same writer,
right,
as this episode, gave us new things, even though it potentially tied back into, hey, that's that Twi'lek there. He buys a lot of Rancors.
He sure does.
He buy yes. that Twi'lek that works for Jabba the Hutt, he buys a lot of Rancors. But it still, provided us with some new things about the universe. This, to me, we sort of knew all of this. And yeah, that's okay. It still felt good to see Hera on screen again, and it felt good to see Vanessa Marshall, or hear Vanessa Marshall do her voice again and embody that character. And I love Chopper, and I love that we got like sort of a more innocent Chopper days of yore moment to it. But I am split. What are they saying with all of this?
Yeah. So the writer of this episode was Tamara Becher Wilkinson.
Yes.
This is her second episode with The Bad Batch. She has like a huge run list of credits as a writer and producer now. And she's definitely written a whole bunch of superhero stuff, because she did Daredevil, I think it was season 3 only. And she did Iron Fist, which, maybe not the greatest of credits to add to your name, but I think Iron Fist in its own way dealt with a good enough story. But this isn't an Iron Fist podcast, so we don't have to get into it. She's done a bunch of producing for Doom Patrol.
Mm-hmm. The guy who I cannot remember names, but the bad guy in Iron Fist who works for the Hand, he's great in The Great.
Mm-hmm. Oh, he's so good.
He's so good in The Great. So if you haven't watched The Great, please watch The Great. That's all.
Yeah, the actors and people involved in Iron Fist are all great. They are delightful. It's just there just seems to be that spark. There's that like thing that happens when those people got together and gelled into this great thing that happened in season 1 of Daredevil, season 1 of Luke Cage, season 1 of Jessica Jones, and then in Iron Fist it's like it just something happened in that show.
Nothing. Yeah, well, and also like the actor himself didn't get enough chance to work on martial arts and stuff like that, because
there was a lot of things
that
fell
went wrong
apart
with
in Iron Fist.
Yeah.
But what was interesting to note is that and Tamara Becher Wilkinson is the script coordinator for the entire first season and only season of Wonder Falls.
What?
I know.
Speaking of like seriously wonderful television.
Absolutely. Storyline. I wish that it had gotten more.
Yeah.
But what it did do was launch careers of a great number of people.
And especially Lee Pace.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Who we fell in love with in that show.
And wasn't Wonder Falls done by Brian Fuller?
Yes.
So
it was one of the original Brian Fullers like that. And then he did Pushing Daisies after.
Right. But he did Dead Like Me before that too.
Maybe,
so
yeah.
Either way, what it did was launch a whole bunch of people's careers. And it's nice to see that Betcher Wilkinson fits into that group, but that she's gone on to amazing, wonderful things as well. And now we're seeing some of the fruits of her labors, because I will say this is that this episode is really well constructed.
Oh, definitely. And like well written and pulls on the right emotional ties. I just have like larger questions about the universe and the use of this episode in the Bad Batch. But I don't it's enjoyable.
That's the funny. I haven't had questions for each of the individual story writers, because each of the stories has been pretty well constructed and nicely flows from one moment to the next and has a nice rising action climax, great action scene. My question is to the group overall: what are you doing here, and why are you doing it?
What is this story that you are telling? And again, I still think like they're laying it's very obvious to me, if they are, pulling out these threads, that they're laying the groundwork for a larger clone trooper rebellion. I think that's pretty obvious at this point, but it just feels like it's disconnected and doesn't feel cohesive, maybe in all the right ways.
I agree.
And also the titles rarely match the episode contents.
Still haven't figured out who the devil was and which deal we're talking about.
Which was the deal that we're talking about in this moment. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm still a bit lost.
Yeah. Do you have any questions for the audience?
Oh, not this week. No. I thank you for passing. I've gotten a couple of people's favorite droids, one of which I had never seen before and looked very scary. And somebody else has sent on to me to tell me that Chopper is their favorite.
What? Right before this episode?
I know, right?
What?
Like, Chopper's my favorite. Oh, well, here you are. Here's your Chopper gift. So that was neat. And so, yeah, it was neat to see that. So please continue to pass on your favorite droids to me via whichever method you would like to do so. Because I always like to know who your favorite droids are.
Absolutely.
And seeing Chopper in this one is a delight. So when the thing popped up, I was like, what droid is that? Who's oh my goodness. It was delightful. So I don't have any questions that stem from this episode, because this episode kind of sits as an outlier.
And it's insular. It's a bubble episode, right? Okay, so but overall, Bad Batch, Sad Batch, how are you feeling? Would you like mine first?
Sure. You probably already wrote yours out.
I did.
Okay.
It's Dad Catch, because Cham Syndulla, Hera's dad, was caught.
Oh, right. We've done the catch before, where there was the great catch, and I believe it was in Rampage where they played catch.
Yeah. And then Dad was catched.
It's neat to think that, like, oh no, that was a different one. I'm getting them all run together. I think it was Cut and Run that had the catch in it. With the I can't remember the name of the beast, the cat-like creature from Attack of the Clones raiding the area.
Yeah.
There were some family pieces that were tied in there. And it seems like family is one of the overarching themes that is coming to light in these shows. They're harking on and really taking their time to see and establish families are important, especially as families are taken away from each other and split up, as Hera's family is in this episode.
Happened,
Also, you can't trust the creepy uncle, and that should just be a regular theme in life and ongoing.
Calling back to last episode, Kyle?
Yeah, but also this episode, which is like, don't eat
Gobi,
the onion.
Don't eat the onion.
And so I think that I would end up going with Sad Batch, because I just felt like they got relegated. I know it's a cop-out because I didn't do any fun and unique puns to make you go, hee-hee.
No, I mean, fair. Like, we got like 5 seconds of them.
Exactly. Right?
Yeah.
All we got mostly was Wrecker offloading. Why was 15 blasters in such a big box?
I don't know.
15 blasters.
But we got Hera
and a bunch
and
of thermal
Omega
detonators.
talking about living on a spaceship, which shows, oh, that's possible to Hera. Yeah, okay, we get it. We knew that all of this.
Yeah.
It's fine.
So yeah, I got sad batched in this episode, even though we got Hera Syndulla and some amazing familial moments, because it's nice to see her and her dad interact in that loving father-daughter way, because they
fight in
they're
Rebels,
so squabbling, and he's so disappointed in her.
Right.
In Rebels.
Right, for not staying on Ryloth and helping Ryloth and choosing to leave. And so maybe she chooses to leave pretty soon after this.
I'm gonna guess.
Yeah, and that's where she runs into baby Kanan.
She's going to free her folks, watch her mom perish,
and then
leave Ryloth.
Yeah.
And in the process therein, bump into Kanan.
Yeah.
And I think that's the better story that I would have liked to have seen. I didn't need to see her parents get captured and the machinations of Rampart come to fruition of like, haha, I have plans within plans within plans. Go Crosshair, right?
And I manage 4 distinct work streams within the Empire.
Oh my God. I have thousands of people who report to me, but I do all of the work myself.
He's one of those micromanagers that you hate. That's like...
How could he be? He wouldn't be able to sleep if he was micromanaging people, right?
I know, but like, why is he there when he could have just sent somebody else? Anyways.
He's just the galactic head of a bunch of different departments, and then his name's associated with all of these things. Maybe he's not actually doing them. He's just signing off on them.
It's just his signature on all of it.
I could totally see that better.
Fine. It's just his signature on the data work. Come on, Marie Claire. Yeah.
Yeah. He has people who are doing these things, and he gets to take all the credit for it.
Why is he always showing up and selling credits then?
Exactly.
That's my question. What is he doing? He's off doing stuff.
Yeah.
I have some logistical problems about this show. But, emotionally, I'm right there with Hera, and it was really wonderful.
How does he even have time to come up with this plan for Ryloth when he probably doesn't even really know Ryloth? Like, he needed to know the intricacies of the relationships that were going on, and that the fact that Hera was...
And to manipulate Omfrita, right? And to know about Hera, to know about Ilani, to know about Cham, right? To know enough about Cham that everybody, like, he knew more than Omfrita, right? Like, yeah.
Oh, and then to have all of the people set up for that part of the journey where Cham's going to set the ambush.
Maybe he's an insomniac. And he doesn't sleep, and thus always has time to read all of the things.
It just goes to show we're never going to see things from Rampart's perspective, just because it'll be mind blown. It'll be like the guy from Numbers, and we'll just see the white chalkboard expressions in math come up, and calculus theorems constantly in front of him, swimming in imaginary numbers.
Like, I don't even think like Tarkin has ever come off as this competent.
No,
He's so incredibly unrealistically competent.
That's why I keep equating him to Thrawn.
No, I know you do.
Yeah.
And Thrawn is good at everything too.
Everything.
Thrawn
would tell you he's not good at everything. Just people.
I'm not good at
everything. Just people.
No, he's not good at people. There's an entire book series about how he's not good at people.
Except that he's good at knowing what people are going to do before they do it.
Well, he's just honestly good at thought experiments and
art.
Well, what is it like? Game theory. He's just good at game theory. He's not actually good at people, because people, when they act irrationally, confuse him.
Right.
Yeah.
But people don't tend to typically act irrationally. There is some sort of element of rationality to it. We just cannot see it.
No, I know, but he has
he's so good at seeing it.
He has no social ability whatsoever, and nobody likes him. That's no.
That's your takeaway.
No, that's canonically nobody likes him. Nobody likes Thrawn.
Obi-Wan canonically?
No.
That's where I went with that.
Oh.
Obi-Wan canonically. No one likes Thrawn.
No, nobody likes him on his own planet.
Except that every single dude bro loves Thrawn to the ends of the earth and between, right?
But in universe, nobody likes him.
Okay.
They're like, the Chiss are like, ugh, I hate this guy so much. Yeah.
Wow.
Which made me like him even more. Right?
Oh, so you like Thrawn at the end of the day, or you don't like Thrawn?
I like the new book series.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's good. Where he's kind of a doofus. Even though he's smart, like he's very strategic.
Yeah.
He's very smart. He treats women and children very nicely.
Yeah.
But like all of the upper and ups of like the Admiralty in the Ascendancy are like, that Thrawn guy, he sucks.
Wow.
Yeah.
Huh.
And that made me like him more because it's like, hey, you're flawed. Sweet. You suck. People don't like you. I identify with that.
Huh. But everybody likes you.
Oh, no, I meant like that he has flaws. That's what I was saying.
Right.
That instead of not being flawed like he was kind of before.
Well, there you go. Rampart, no flaws though.
Not that we can see.
None to be
Perfect hair, great skin.
Great animated skin.
Great animated skin.
I like his eyes.
Yeah.
He's nice.
Always making the right choices. Also responsible for like 4 distinct work streams.
Yeah. He seems to be more important than Tarkin.
Yes. Isn't that weird?
Yeah. I mean, it's not particularly weird. It's the infancy of the galactic.
No, fair. Yeah. And
empire.
maybe he's just like trying to be like, I control all this stuff, so I get the raise.
I don't know. Usually people this high up are not working so hard to justify their large bonuses.
No, they are not.
They're just like, I'm this high up, I get a giant bonus.
I just sign off on the data work.
Exactly.
Right? You're putting your name on the data work. That's why you get paid, because you're responsible for it in the end.
Right.
Yeah.
They sign on it, and then they're like, and
but
now give me even more money.
He's literally showing up on planets and being like, I'm going to make sure the senator is killed.
Yep.
It's weird. From
one planet to the next.
I mean, maybe it was more of like...
Do you think they're going alphabetically? Was it like Raxus to Ryloth? Like they're just...
Oh, yes, absolutely. Like, yeah. But they did the thing where...
But sir, that's all the way across the entire galaxy. I don't care.
No.
Alphabetical.
Alphabetical. But they did the thing that you do when you're like, I don't want to start at A's so that they know that they're coming. We're going to start at O's.
Right.
So that we're like halfway through and they don't know we're coming.
But sir, there's like 42 Q's.
Wait. Did they go to they went to Ord Mantell too?
Yeah. So they did start an O. And now they're working through their R's.
Yeah.
She's like Quarrens?
But that's the same planet as the Mon Calamari. So
right.
it's Mon Cala is the
right, so
home
they might
planet.
get there later.
Yeah. They'll get there last, yeah. Yeah. We've cracked the code of the Empire. Yeah. Alphabetical from O down. Most likely. And then back up to A. Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. All right. I think that's a great Bad Batch episode this week. Did you have any questions for our listeners to answer? Other than, what is your favorite droid? Which
if you want to tell me what you think Rampart isn't good at, that would be hilarious.
What is Rampart not good at? Oh my goodness, yes.
Yeah.
He seems really good at everything.
I don't think he's good at setting up swings in the backyard.
That's his one thing?
Which is like my WandaVision call out, because Vision's not good at that either.
No, he's not.
Vision's good at everything, but he's not good at setting up a swing in the backyard.
Yeah.
And so I feel like Rampart, I'd like to see that.
Maybe Rampart is really just Vision. No? Okay, fine.
But yeah, feel free, shoot me a note and let me know what you think Rampart is not good at.
That sounds great.
Yeah.
All right, Kyle, where can people find you if they're looking for you online?
So you won't be able to find me much online for the next 3 weeks or so, because we're still going to be here in Vancouver Island, and I'm kind of taking a bit of a break. Now, you won't notice that on...
If you want to listen to Tavern Tales or
Tavern Tales Junior or Flight Risk, you won't catch... those will still be on...
They're pre-scheduled.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm not so super concerned about those. You have missed me in Trial by Jury. You can't see that online anymore. That's now over. I hope you did get a chance to go see it. A bunch of people who listened to the Bad Batch actually logged on and watched that show.
Which is great and appreciated. Yeah.
What? Thank you for that. Yes, I can sing and dance. Tink-a-tank. And when I get back to Calgary in August, I will be starting up on my YouTube channel, the Tavern Tales podcast, the second book of Chris Ng's Heart and Soul Fist. because he's finished writing that, and so he's putting together a PDF for voice actors, and I'm putting together.
You're going to do another
team.
voice acting reading of the book?
Yeah, full cast reading of Chris Ng's second book, the follow up to Heart and Soul Fist. Summer something or other, I can't remember off the top of my head, but that'll be on the Tavern Tales podcast or Tavern Tales YouTube channel. And we'll do more about that as it comes up, because it won't be happening until, late August, early September.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds fun. And if you want to check out other things from me specifically, you can check out What the Fiction, which is our sister YouTube channel. And we do live streams on all the Marvel shows. And most recently, we've been covering Loki.
Totally.
Yeah.
And in August, Marvel is releasing, and the teaser got released for it, and it looks so good. Yeah. And I think we should do What If the Fiction.
What If the Fiction? Yeah.
I know you didn't really want to, but I kind of, we could podcast it, or I was super intrigued by the things that they've decided to do as the one difference. What if?
Yeah, no, I am interested in it. I'm thinking about time and stuff like that. So I'm still sorting that out if I'm going to cover it.
I'm like, is T'Challa Star-Lord? Is that what they said in this? Like,
there's a lot going on with it. It's cool.
Was T'Challa running around with Yondu?
I don't know. I only caught half of it, so I can't speak to it right now.
Fair. Maybe you'll want to speak to it later.
Maybe. I will be deciding in the next week whether I want to cover it. So that'll be a thing.
Well, lots of more stuff to come in the rest of 2021 for Star Wars. More Bad Batch episodes still to come out.
Yep.
So join us next week back here at the farmhouse for another episode.
Cheers. Thank you for listening to What the Force. I'm Marie Claire Gould, your host. Our music is orchestral music by Christy Carew for What the Force. We have a Patreon at patreon.com/whattheforce. We like to thank all our patrons, especially those who love and are obsessed with What the Force. Brad, Melody, Night Huntress in Wild Space, Felicia, How Rude, Anna Perez, Macau Mom, Neil, James, Joellen D, Christian Luca, Josh Johnson, Scott C, and Susan. Make sure to like and subscribe on YouTube, or leave a 5-star review on iTunes or other pod apps. It helps people find the show. Check out our other channel on YouTube or other podcast feeds, What the Fiction. You can connect with us on Twitter at WT Force Show, What the Force Podcast on Facebook, or our website, whattheforce.ca, or on our Discord. Links are in the liner notes. Feel free to reach out and start a conversation. Cheers.